welcome to Breezy Broadcast, the best place to find accurate national information about fronts, precipitation, storms, and other types of weather in your beloved country, the U.S. We'll first take a peek at the friendly state of Oklahoma. In the northwest part of the state, there will be a small warm front that will cause a gradual heating of this area of about 24 degrees or so. And as you see, starts Friday and ends Thursday. Another addition to all warm fronts is a pressure drop and a dew point rise that remains steady until the passing of the front. Be on the lookout because there's a 6% chance of rain in this region Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. However, in southern Oklahoma, there will be a nippy cold front. The effects are the opposite of a warm front. The temperature will drop 9 degrees, 43 to 32, and as you see here, it's actually getting colder instead of hotter. However, this cold front has something else to offer. A gigantic thunderstorm formed by a cumulonimbus cloud. I would advise staying in a shelter because once the lightning touches the ground, it releases 100 million to 1 billion volts of electricity as high as 50,000 degrees. Since it's so incredibly hot, it expands the air at remarkable speeds, then implodes on itself, making a big boom, which is the sound of air hitting itself. So yeah, stay snugged indoors and get comfortable because it might be a while. Now, in New York, a snowstorm is approaching with temperatures ranging from 25 degrees to 40. In other words, cold. Snow is formed in a humid cloud by the water vapor depositing freezing nuclei, forming minuscule crystals that grow rapidly and uniquely and eventually flurries to the ground. When the cloud is below freezing, several things could occur, but I'll only be talking about one: sleep. Supercooled cloud droplets could form and chill much below the negatives and remain liquid. As coalescence happens, the process of droplets joining with others, it starts to descend. Then it freezes in the air, forming ice pellets called sleep. There may be some in Minnesota tomorrow at 9 p.m. And again, it's cold, but I'm from Florida, so that doesn't mean anything. Dangerous hailstorms will appear with temperatures in the 30s. They can sometimes form from sleep. Cumulonimbus clouds have strong internal updrafts that carry freezing raindrops, which freeze immediately when touching the ground to very high altitudes. During the ascension, it coalesces with falling supercooled raindrops, freezes, then falls in the downdrafts, collides with more raindrops, and then repeats, forming hail. Once it gets too heavy to be carried by a draft, it plummets to the ground, and in this occasion, into Colorado, with the same as Minnesota, 30s. Now in Kansas, with a 46 to 50 degree forecast for the week, there might be one large tornado that will spawn from a very violent thunderstorm. Also, tornadoes are associated with humongous alternating storms named supercells, and Ted Fujita contributed to a lot to the study of tornadoes. These storms only form under extraordinary circumstances. Supercells consist of a property called wind shear, which is a massive change in the wind speed at different altitudes. It creates a gargantuan horizontal spinning mass of air. The updraft inside of the thunderstorm redirects the mass of air 180 degrees to the ground, forming a funnel cloud. Once it extends and grounds, it is considered a tornado. They can also form from hurricanes, although not in the central US, but commonly in the coastal cities, like the Sunshine State. That's why in Florida, where it's always hot, will be 72 to 79 degrees for the most part, then dropping 5 degrees at the end of the week. And as you see here, hot, and a little colder. Now, hurricanes, typhoons, or cyclones, whatever you want to call them, are formed in the ocean from subtropical and tropical zones. A hurricane is the most substantial kind of storm. The wind speed ranges from 74 miles per hour to 156 plus miles per hour. And if the pressure in the eye reduces, the winds become faster. The condition it needs to form are warm water around 76 degrees, the Coriolis effect, in the ocean within 10 to 15 degrees latitude, and from June to October. The warm water is drawn and taken to the low pressure zone near the eye of the storm, and if it's in the northern hemisphere, it spins counterclockwise. But if it's in the southern hemisphere, it spins clockwise due to the Coriolis effect, which is a visible deflection of moving objects caused by the Earth's spin. It lasts up to 3 weeks, causing heavy rains and high temps. That is all the information I have for you this week about fronts, storms, tornadoes, snow, sleet, and hail. Thanks for having me. Goodbye. Don't forget to stay dry.